Now, there's been quite a number of developments this Thursday in the case of Captain Adams Mahama, the soldier who was killed by a mob in the central region on Monday. We start off in the Bono Ahafo region, where a man has been arrested at Techiman for his alleged role in the lynching of Captain Mahama. Our correspondent Anas Abi joins us on the line with the latest on that. Hello, Anas. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Ara.
And who is this suspect we are told has been arrested, and under what circumstances was he apprehended?
Well, his name is only given as one Ntum, and the Techiman police gathered or acted upon a hint given by a passerby who, according to him, overheard the said Ntum narrating what actually happened in Dentra Obuasi when the said soldier was killed. In fact, the man passing by quickly hinted the police on hearing this from the man, and the police acted swiftly to take this gentleman together with his in-law, whom he came to visit in Techiman after absconding from Dentra Obuasi.
And do we know the exact role that this suspect is said to have played?
Well, according to the police, he is yet to admit whether he participated in the mob attack. According to him, he is a motor cane rider, and he wanted to help the gentleman, but unfortunately he couldn't do so. That's what he explained to the police. We are yet to establish whether actually he participated in the exercise. He was quickly taken from Techiman to the Sunyani Regional Police headquarters for further interrogation. So as we stand now, we cannot establish whether actually he participated in the attack.
All right, many thanks to you. That's Bono Ahafo Regional Correspondent Anas Abi with those details. And the news is that one more person has been apprehended in Techiman in connection with the lynching of Captain Adams Mahama. Now, President Akufo-Addo says he has directed the police to ensure none of those found guilty of murdering Captain Maxwell Mahama is spared. He described the killing of the army officer as a complete waste of valuable life. Speaking at the Flagstaff House on Thursday, the president expressed his condolences, adding he had asked the vice president to visit the family and the first lady to console the widow. This is the first time the president is speaking publicly about Captain Mahama's death after a couple of tweets condemning the attack on Wednesday. Well, let's go on the line because we have more details about additional arrests and apprehensions. Ohiming Teria has been following this particular story. He joins us on the line now. Ohiming, earlier today, we know that 7 suspects were put before court, but we also understand that 5 more suspects have been apprehended. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, Araba, these are 5 people who were, until their movement from Dentra Obuasi in the central region, were very, very active residents there. But just after Tuesday, they decided to pitch camp in the Asankagwa in the western region. But the Asankagwa police, upon a tip-off, moved swiftly and arrested 5 of them. And as we speak now, arrangements have been made. These 5 suspects are being transported to the central regional capital, Cape Coast, where the regional police command will take over investigations as part of investigations into the murder of the late Captain Mahama.
Now, Ohiming, we also know that the body of a man believed to have participated in the lynching of the soldier was discovered on Thursday. Tell us what you know about the state in which the corpse was found and what clues as to what do we know about how he died?
Yes, this is a 48-year-old man called Yao Biu. This was his identity was revealed after police got to the scene and opened a black polythene bag, which he held firmly even during his death, and it revealed his identity. And I must say, according to the police, the assemblyman for the area, first Mr. Ezekedu, reported to the police that a male adult has been found at the outskirts of Modaso, very close to Diaso, the district capital of the Upper Dentra West district, few kilometers away from Dentra Obuasi, where the incident of Captain Mahama happened. So this particular man is a payloader operator, and he was seen or captured in the latest video in which the late Captain Mahama was being pushed all over and also assaulted and lynched by residents of Densha Obuasi. So when police got to the scene, they started inspecting the body. Later, first before the arrival of the police, people in the area had suspected that this body found at the outskirts of the town in front of an uncompleted storage building. The person, the deceased, might have committed suicide, but when police got closer, it came out that the body had a very deep cut on the upper left side of the left-hand side. So the police ruled out a possible suicide, but they believe that the deep cut might be that the disease was stabbed by an unknown assailant. So the body was conveyed to the Bibiani Government Hospital, and after which the police homicide special team led by Director of CID, COP, Mr. Bright, who drove from the Ghana Police Headquarters, led a team to the area and also visited the scene, and also have started investigations to unravel the circumstances under which the late Mr. 46-year-old Yaobiu body was found in the outskirts of Modaso, closer to Densha Obuasi, where a military captain was lynched by residents.
All right, many thanks. Ohim Interior is our correspondent monitoring the developments in Densha Obuasi, where the incident happened. As I indicated earlier, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has been speaking about this incident publicly for the very first time. He says those who have been found culpable of murdering Captain Maxwell Mahama will not be spared.
I was extremely upset to hear about the news of the death of Captain Mahama. To me, a complete waste of life, a valuable life, in circumstances that do no credit to anybody. Very, very sorry to hear about it, and I'd like to extend my sincerest and deepest condolences to his wife and family. I asked the Vice President to go and visit with the family, and I believe today my own wife, Rebecca, has been also to console the widow. One thing which is clear, I've told the law enforcement agencies, the law investigation and enforcement agencies, that they should spare no stone, make sure that those who were responsible for this brutal act are brought to face their consequences and brought before trial in our courts and justice done accordingly. We have to have a country where the rule of law works. I've been fighting for that all my life, and now that I'm in the chair, I have to make sure that there is meaning to it.
Well, President Akufo-Addo also confirmed the suspension of the DCE of the Upper Densha West, Daniel Epiening, describing his comments about the lynching of the soldier as provocative.
Something with some considerable reluctance, but which I felt was necessary to do. The district chief executive made comments in this matter that appeared to have been somewhat provocative. Taken the decision that he should be suspended, pending an inquiry into all the circumstances of the matter and the comments that he but in the meantime, directed the Minister for Local Government to take the appropriate measures to carry out this decision.
So what exactly did the Upper Densha West DCE say that has gotten him into trouble? Insura FM's Ohim Interior has been speaking with Daniel Epiening, who believes his words were twisted. Let's watch this interview recorded on Tuesday. This was before his suspension as announced by the president on Thursday.
It's an impression created That means saying that those military men here, I don't have any, I don't know the presence of any security military men to fight small-scale man. I'm in a way defending the killing. And I think I find it awkward. You understand? When issues happen, we must try to understand the basis and get further information. It will help us a lot. We must know how those military men come to the forest to protect people who are mining. All those issues might have to come in. Because other than that, you will not even have been here to even go and jog and meet. So all these issues, we have to talk about it. It doesn't in any way suggest that I'm happy the incident happened. It doesn't. But whilst we are looking at that, we must begin, because you see, the issue has been there for quite a long time. Some communities along in the Wassa, Memphis Central, also along that forest, some demonstrations have gone on severally. You understand? Look, their presence there has created a lot of problems and others. That has been going on. I'm saying it's not currently. No, it's not about 1.5 years now, if my memory serves me right. Do you understand? So who gave the license for them to mine in the forest? All those issues. Don't I have the right to talk about those issues? Whilst I'm concerned about the death of the man, which we have to carry proper investigations to bring the perpetrator. Indeed, if he's not an armed robber, he's a military man, and they arrested him without reporting to police, all those investigations are security matters that have to go on. But I think this concerns too. We must talk about it.
Meanwhile, the 7 suspects who were arrested on Wednesday have been arraigned before court in Cape Coast. The 7 were remanded into police custody. Richard Kojo-Nyarko has that angle of the story for us. He joins us on the line with more. Richard, good evening to you. What transpired in court today?
Well, what transpired in court was that the prosecutor, Hilarious Avonyo, prayed the court to remand the suspect into police custody. What he said was that there are a lot of things that they are gathering, and their facts are not conclusive enough for them to start prosecuting the case. And so the magistrate should remand these persons into police custody while they go on with their investigations. The defense lawyer for the suspect, George Bernard Shaw, did not oppose the request by the prosecution team, and he explained that it is true that, the matter is still fluid, and so the prosecution would have to get a lot of time and gather its facts before they come to court. And so they agreed with the prosecution, and so they have been remanded into police custody to reappear on the 19th of this month.
Kojo-Nyarko with that update. Now, former President John Mahama has cautioned against the politicization of the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama. The former president said the incident is a national tragedy that should prompt all citizens to rally around the family of the deceased. He made those comments when he paid a visit to the family of the late captain. Matilda Bemega was there for Joy News.
The former president was accompanied by Professor Kwesi Botwe, a relative of the wife of the deceased, former Defense Minister Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, and some former ministers of state. John Mahama, who is an uncle of the deceased, said he was unhappy with the way the incident has already been politicized and called on the security agencies to expedite investigations into the murder to bring the culprits to justice.
I received this very, very terrible news, and I wish to extend my condolences to Maxwell's wife, Barbara, and the little children. There's a tragedy that nobody expects at a time like this. Maxwell was a very fine officer, very respected in the army, and he had a very bright career ahead of him. And unfortunately, to die this way is totally unacceptable. The military are an institution that sacrifices a lot to defend us. And for those who are to defend us to become the victims, of ourselves, for us to inflict this kind of death on them is unacceptable completely. Believe that government and the security agencies will do everything possible to bring the perpetrators of this dastardly act to book. If we are able to find out who did it and properly prosecute them and apply the penalty, I believe that it will serve as a deterrent to people who engage in mob justice. If this happens, then Maxwell's death would not have been in vain. And I'll also appeal that we don't politicize this matter. It could have been anybody. And the fact is, the reality is here with us. And so let us all together, in a non-partisan manner, government, opposition, everybody, let's take this as a national tragedy and treat it the way that it should be treated.
Meanwhile, family of the late Captain Mahama is also appealing to members of the public to desist from sharing photos of the slain soldier on social media.
The way the things are circulating in the social media is not good. We are all in this country. Barely a week ago, something happened in Britain. Up till now, not a single soul picture that you will see on the YouTube or something. But our late son, visuals are all over, even making the family to be crying day in, day out.
Remains of the late soldier have been deposited at the 37 Military Hospital morgue. The family is expected to hold a meeting on Friday to prepare a final farewell for the late Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama.
And you're still watching Joy News Prime. I'm Arba Kumson. But don't go away, because still ahead, the father of the deceased soldier has meanwhile been speaking with Joy News and sharing exclusive details about his son. The grieving father at some point could not hold back his tears.
Forces Command came to me
We have details when we return. You're welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces have once again been urged to exercise restraint following the gruesome murder of their colleague in the Central Region on Monday. The ghastly images being circulated in the wake of the incident is said to have incensed some military officers, with fears they may seek to exact their own vengeance on the people of the community where the soldier was lynched. The Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Akwa, however, told a depot of personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces on Thursday exercising restraint would demonstrate their professionalism, as soldiers assuring them justice will be done. There is more in this report.
Soldiers from all ranks in their hundreds gathered at the Bema Hall of the military camp, visibly shaken by the development. Given an opportunity to speak, they did not mince words. While some called for reprisals, others insisted they abandon all operations in the hinterland.
The operations that we go, that's forestry duties and those things that we have been doing, assisting them. So I would suggest we leave the work for the police to also carry on, so that we come back to our barracks.
Okay, please. You who kill by the sword, must the same thing die by the sword, sir? The same thing.
That I'll be lynched by the very people that I protect. If I should die on the battlefield, I die like a brave soldier, but not to be lynched. So my question is, what happened to Captain Adams, the wife, the very young children? Does the army have any educational endowment fund for the children? And if they have, to which level? When soldiers fall, we hear a lot of promises, we hear a lot of assurances, including my brother. I'm saying this because I've experienced it. When it was a year for me to visit my brother's grave, I went there and my brother's tombstone wasn't made. It was supposed to be made by the armed forces. I had to pay 300 Ghana cedis to make it available for that 1 year celebration. But a lot of promises were made. So I want to know today, even as of now, nothing has been heard about my brother's estate or anything.
But the CDS reminded them it was important that cool heads prevail.
That this incident, as I indicated in my speech, is a test of our professional posture, a test of our resilience, a test of how we respond to crisis. We exist, I agree with you, to protect Ghana from external aggression and also to support the police to maintain internal law and order. In a society as vast and as complex as Ghana, occasionally some of these unfortunate incidents will and do occur. The great question is that how do you respond to it? Cool heads must prevail. Additionally, our Commander-in-Chief has assured us that nobody is going to go scot-free in this particular incident.
Lieutenant General Akwa also assured a package is being worked out for the family of the late Captain Mahama.
A lot of philanthropists have already started coming up. What can we do for the family? In fact, one person wanted to see me today, but after this debate, I'm flying over to Takoradi. So I've given him another appointment. But he has given me a promise, and that's one person asking what can he do to support the education of the two children. And that's an individual. I have no doubt in my mind that the family of this officer will never be left in the lurch. Never. The Vice President made a statement yesterday that they will support the family, first in the organization of the funeral, and subsequently in the welfare and the upkeep of the wife and the children. For us as High Command, we also will do similar things.
The military is expected to continue assisting the police in investigations.
Let's stay a while longer on this issue because the father of the army captain who was killed in Dincho Boase says he is hopeful the security agencies will get to the bottom of the matter. Speaking in an exclusive interview on Upfront, Captain Dennis Ama, retired, who could not hold back his tears after recounting what happened, said his son's soul will not rest until all the perpetrators are brought to book.
I'm still in shock. Up to now, I cannot stay alone. Yes. Right now, I've just seen him suffering. I take the picture off. It comes.
It's not the kind of theft that any father will wish for the child, even if the person is prone to the hazards of any job of this sort. Who has given you what you consider to be concrete information about what happened? Whose account, whose analysis do you believe currently?
The Armed Forces Command came to me on Tuesday. They came to the family on Tuesday morning to announce that they can confirm that the officer they sent on the Galamsey operations was lynched. President has promised, he's giving the instructions, the CDS, the army commander, all the service commanders are up in arms, really up to the task. It is very evident on the ground that they are moving, they are leaving no stone unturned.
He also expressed his disgust at the suspended district chief executive for suggesting the late captain was protecting illegal miners.
Our family head, Chief Kamankpesura Kase, our family head, did remark or pointed out to the vice president when he called on us here that the DCE's comments are very unfortunate and that doesn't help the situation.
Yeah.
And when he was asked, he said it was not befitting of his position. He's supposed to be a responsible man. Yeah. And so he's not supposed to even occupy that seat for such a comment.
You believe in that?
That's right. And so, definitely, if we hear that something is done to him for
such
reckless statement,
yeah,
definitely we'll be appeased. Because such things will send signals to people that, look, we must be responsible.
So that was father of the deceased soldier, Captain Adams Mahama, speaking there to my colleague Raymond Akwa. We're taking a short break. We're back with business. Don't go away. You're welcome back. It's time for business, and Emmanuel Abuaji-Riafi joins me in the studio now. Emmanuel, good to see you. What's this I'm hearing about Ghana's opportunity to cancel its debt? We're losing our opportunity to cancel our debt.
Sure. The visiting vice president of the World Bank for Africa region is currently saying that Ghana is not going to have any opportunity for debt cancellation as we did have in 2001. So we rather have to manage our debt portfolio than to expect any cancellation of our debts.
That sounds like a tall order, but give us the details.
Right. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining me on business tonight. Ghana would not have any opportunity again for debt cancellation or be declared HIPC. That's according to the Vice President of the World Bank for Africa and East Asia, Axel van Trotsenberg. There have been calls for another round of debt cancellation for countries like Ghana. This is based on how the rising debts is impacting negatively on economic development. Speaking to Joy Business as part of his visit to Ghana, the Vice President said the country must rather look at prioritizing its borrowing needs.
You know, the HIPC initiative was meant to a one-off, and I think that remains so. I think that there was a lot of effort made to put these packages together. It was very complicated. The big challenge for all countries is that is a part of economic development. Industrialized countries have it, developing countries have it. The art is to integrate effective debt management into the macroeconomic management, into the fiscal policy, and see how you can optimize financing for the best purpose of the country. So that is and keep it sustainable. And that is the challenge of macroeconomic policy.
Some would say that, I mean, now we are around 62% of our debt in relation to our economy, that is 62 debt relation to the size of our economy. Some would say that is quite big. Last year we were around 73 as well. Wouldn't that be possible for, even if that request is made to the bank, to consider a debt release for Ghana?
No, these initiatives, as they are taking place, they tend to take place in the context of a broader initiative. Right now, there is no new initiative on the table. I don't think that there is any intention on this because it has been such an effort. I think it provided significant relief to Africa. Those countries that have still not benefited from that have other challenges. I'm thinking of particular countries like Somalia that have had a civil war. Once there is a normalization, also the debt issue in that country will be addressed.
Now, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have begun discussions to explore mechanisms in order to control the issue of cocoa smuggling and price fluctuations on the international market. Both countries control more than 50% of the global commodity on the market. Ghana lost about $1 billion of revenue within the last 6 months owing to the fall in cocoa prices. In an interview with Joy Business, Board Chairman of Cocoa Board, Hackman Owusu-Agyeman, emphasized the need to initiate steps in order to influence the market. There's more in this report.
The two-day technical meeting organized by the Ghana Cocoa Board and the Conseil du Café Cacao Côte d'Ivoire is aimed at fostering collaboration together in order to control cocoa production and pricing on the international market. This meeting is very crucial to both countries since they are the market controllers and share common challenges in the industry. In an interview, Board Chairman of Cocoa Board, Hackman Owusu-Agyeman, said the situation where both countries lose hugely whenever there is a fall in the price of cocoa can be averted.
The commodity exchange is in London, partly in New York. So what we have to do is begin to see how best we can influence the market price as producers. If you recollect, the oil before they formed themselves into a cartel, everybody paid whatever they wanted to pay. But now when they got together and synchronized their policies and their production level, they were able to control it. But in this instance, we asked the farmers to enhance productivity. They do enhance productivity, increase productivity, production increases, and then the prices plummet dramatically. Right now, in the last 6 months, we've lost $1,000 per ton. And so Ghana, we've lost in excess of $1 billion, and that is why it's important that due to the falling prices. I told you the prices are falling from about 3,000 to about 2,100, and sometimes even to 1,800. So there have been major dramatic falls in the world prices of cocoa, and that is where the difficulty is. And then we have to pay a certain percentage to the farmers. But this government is not going to reduce the prices at all. It's going to maintain the prices, and that means we work harder to make sure we make up for the shortfall.
The meeting also discussed issues of smuggling across the borders of the two nations. On her part, Director General Le Conseil du Café Cacao, Nasante Ture Leche, said the Ivorian government has initiated programs with its customs officials in checking the menace and expects the Ghana government to do the same.
The problem is a real one between Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, and we are here in order to find solution. In Abidjan and Côte d'Ivoire, we try to better work on the customs, and we hope that here in Ghana we'll do the same to at least minimize, if we cannot stop, but at least minimize this problem of smuggling.
What's the relationship between you and the farmers to make sure that these things are...
A lot of what we call in French sensibilisation, to let them understand that it's better for each one of the countries to keep the products within their own borders.
At the end of the meeting, a communique on the outcomes of the various discussions will be discussed.
The Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited, BOST, has debunked rumors making rounds that it has abrogated its contract with fuel transporters. Managing Director of BOST, Alfred Obeng-Boateng, says the company has rather reviewed the contract to make room for applications from more transporters. He disclosed this after meeting stakeholders at the Accra Plains Depot of BOST at Gbom, here in the Greater Accra region.
Managing Director of BOST, Alfred Obeng-Boateng, said the review of contracts became necessary after the company received about 600 applications from transporters to transport petroleum products as against the 160 which previously existed.
In order to be fair to a large number of applicants, we need to reduce the number of products that a transporter is allowed to transport per week. Previously, some of them were doing 30 trucks a week. Now, at that time, today have only 160 transporters that was doing business with Bost. But since I came, we have received 600. So the 600, we need to share it by reducing the quantity of drugs that a transporter is allowed to do per week. So that has brought a whole lot of confusion, but I think that most of them are getting the understanding that I have not terminated their contract, but we are trying to share it among the large number of Ghanaians who want to do business with Bost.
Mr. Boateng said a cabinet memo has directed that the Abolga depot should be used to transport products to the Sahelian market. This, he said, would help cut operational losses that characterize their work.
The Abolga depot now has been earmarked to receive products for export to the Sahelian market by the cabinet memo or instruction. And this is precisely what we are going to do. We have met as a body, MPA and the Deputy Minister of Petroleum. We've met and we have strategized that henceforth we will send the product boss to make sure we send the product to Abolga depot. So any petroleum BDC or any body who has the export licenses to export product to the markets, instead of them picking the product from Accra or any of our depots, they can only pick it from Abolga depot to avoid any confusion.
Meanwhile, chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, George Nyaonu, says the current administration at Bost must attend to their challenges.
Sisi akrampo muba ye so yi to kra ye drivers no any baby a omubeda baby a omubetena kra no a ye de be ye adwuma so mo man no kra ye bi ni ho afi na omutu hu anamo aye bi amaye na ye lodu free.
Our drivers don't have a place to lay their heads. It's difficult, especially in rainy seasons. We don't have any sitting area to work. The Mana Nigerian technicians also offload products when drivers get to the depots, results in shortages. It's having a negative toll on our work. The transporters had earlier vowed to ground all their 3,500 bulk road vehicles if their grievances were not addressed.
That's all in business for tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to Araba for more news.
All right, many thanks, Emmanuel, for business. And we're crossing live over to the residence of the British High Commissioner, John Benjamin, because he is giving his farewell speech after his duty tour has come to an end. We understand Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Gloria Kufu, is speaking now. Let's listen in.
Of duty. His departure undoubtedly will take away some considerable excitement and political shine from within the diplomatic community and the country at large. I personally am going to miss his matter-of-fact way of doing business. May I at this juncture, on behalf of the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the government and people of the Republic of Ghana, convey warm felicitations to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Prime Minister Theresa May, and the government and people of the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, our two countries have enjoyed a long history of bilateral relations that predates Ghana's independence, which is anchored on joint bilateral and multilateral cooperation. Our country has over the years received invaluable assistance from the United Kingdom in support of our development efforts. This includes the strengthening of peace and security, surveillance of human and drug trafficking, reintegration of migrants, public sector financial reforms, and the strengthening of our electoral system through capacity building and logistical support. We acknowledge in particular the support of the Department for International Development DFID towards Ghana's achievement of the Millennium Development Goals as captured in the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations Agenda 2030. As an expression of our appreciation, I wish to recall recent high-level visits, which include that of the British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson in February 2017, former Prime Minister Tony Blair in March 2017, and Her Royal Majesty Princess Anne in April 2017, which have given further impetus to the enduring relationship between our two countries. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo is making strenuous efforts to inject discipline into the country and has taken measures to deal with lawlessness and the canker of corruption by initiating the necessary legislation for the establishment of an office of Special Prosecutor. Measures aimed at improving the economy are also on course, in line with the One District, One Factory policy, as well as Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, which is aimed primarily at transforming the economy and providing jobs to our youthful population. In support of its transformational efforts, government is determined to move its relationship with friendly countries and development partners beyond the traditional provision of aid to that of a robust trade and investment. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on this note, may I invite you to join me in a toast to the good health and well-being of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the Prime Minister Theresa May, as well as the Commonwealth and people of the United Kingdom. Long live Ghana. Long live the United Kingdom. Long live John Benjamin. Thank you very much.
So that was Attorney General and Minister for Justice Gloria Kufuor addressing the gathering at the residence of the British High Commissioner. And Mr. John Benjamin, who is the outgoing British High Commissioner, has been in the country for 3 years, and he is ending his duty tour. He's also been addressing the gathering. In fact, he addressed the gathering before the minister, and some issues he raised. He expressed his condolences to the late captain who was lynched in the central region. He also talked about visa fraud and his time in Ghana. Listen.
This is a country full of potential, talent, human dignity, and inner strength. I have traveled very widely and have been consistently touched by the warmth, hospitality, generosity of spirit, and good humor of so many Ghanaians, including many whose daily lives are one of real struggle just to get by. Ghana's people, its human capital, is a real treasure, and that is why we are fundamentally optimistic about Ghana's future. But it is not all rosy, of course. Those who pretend everything is just fine when they know it isn't, or who refuse to recognize problems which are as plain as day, do a disservice to themselves, to those they work for and with, and ultimately to their country. In the last 3 years, for example, our total UK-Ghana bilateral trade has fallen much too far, in fact by nearly a third from its 2012 peak. We must look to recapture and then exceed those levels soon, underpinned, we hope, by significantly improving macroeconomic management and a better business and investment climate here, both areas in which we are also making a contribution in line with His Excellency's government's priorities. The signs are good. British companies are again looking to Ghana, while our new UK-Ghana Chamber of Commerce is motoring ahead. At the High Commission, sadly, we have also seen far too much attempted visa fraud, including by people occupying high positions commanding societal respect, who seem to think that the rules apply to everybody else but themselves. or that they can break those rules with impunity. I think we've made it clear enough. We will not tolerate visa fraud against us, and we will ban those who attempt it. It may, however, interest you to know that during the last 3 years, we have approved more visa applications by Ghanaian citizens than we have refused. Yes, that's an approval rate of averaging over 50%, contrary to some of the claims we see. Or, to put it another way, we have approved visas for nearly 50,000 Ghanaian citizens in the last 3 years. But it is and will remain our absolute sovereign right to control entry into our country by visitors, workers, and would-be immigrants. And, of course, you knew I was going to say this, we have seen far too much greedy, wanton corruption in too many spheres, in government, in politics, in public administration, in religion, in traditional leadership, in business, in football, in the media, and at too many levels from top to bottom. I refer, for example, to highly padded single-source contracts and unfairly awarded tenders. I refer to obvious conflicts of interest by those who use state positions to promote private business interests. And I refer to numerous egregious cases on which no action is taken, such as the arson fire at the Central Medical Stores in early 2015, in which over £4 million worth of UK-funded medical supplies were destroyed, and for which nobody, at least yet, has faced justice. Indeed, nobody, not a single person of any high standing, has gone to jail for corruption in Ghana for more than a decade. I know many Ghanaians who say, at least privately to us, that it is high time that changed, and we think they're right and we support them. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have made and we will continue to make an issue of this theme of corruption, and we make no apology for it.
So that's the straight-talking, outgoing British High Commissioner John Benjamin there. And as many as would love to see him go, as many more will miss him. Now, a social media strategist, Magnus Ametogo, is calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, use the same platform being used to spread sensitive videos of the late Captain Adam Mahama to address the issue. There have been several calls, including that from the deceased family, for government to help end the insensitivity on social media. Speaking on Joy News analysis show The Pulse, Mr. Ametogo said condemning the act on Facebook Live or YouTube Live would do a lot to curtail the spread of those videos.
Sensitive content must be kept private, and people's rights to privacy must be respected. So I don't think sharing videos of a dead person or somebody being brutalized is right. And the platforms frown on that. The social media platforms do not allow the sharing of graphic content. But it depends on who will report it, because Facebook, for example, about 2.5 billion contents are shared every 24 hours. So you have to take somebody who sees the content, report it to Facebook, then the system flags it for them to pull it down.
A lot of burden has come on government because everybody, including the family of Captain Mahama, is calling on government to do something about this video sharings of this man on social media. You are a strategist. How can government handle this problem? Because I know handling social media is not an easy thing.
Yeah, for me, to be frank, I was expecting the Minister of Interior or the Minister of Defense or whichever authority is in charge, possibly the President, doing a Facebook Live or a YouTube Live or a Twitter Live to speak against this particular thing which is being shared on social media. It's not being fair to the families, it's not being fair to the friends. So we need authorities to use the same platform to speak against it. And there should be a massive nationwide campaign against mob action or mob justice. Justice does not lie in the bosom of the mob. It lies with the state. And I expect the state institutions to take the right action with some sense of urgency.
Away from that, a 41-year-old plywood trader is in the hands of the Ashanti Region Police for attempting to assassinate her business partner. Joyce Entry, a resident of Bokrum Estate, a suburb of Kumasi, is alleged to have paid 5,000 Ghana cedis to kill a business partner she owed 99,000 cedis. Kwesi Deborah reports.
On April 2017, Joyce Entry is said to have approached the victim. She would need her money to invest into her business. Joyce Entry then approached someone to assassinate the victim for a fee of 5,000 Ghana cedis. The complainant agreed to the offer and was given 2,500 Ghana cedis as part payment from the suspect and promised the balance will be paid when the job is executed.
The complainant to execute the job in the afternoon, since the victim's husband and children will be out of the house. On Friday, 26th of May, suspect Joyce Entry picked the complainant to the residence of the victim at Bokrum Estate to show him the house of the victim. The complainant immediately alerted the police about this engagement with the suspect as well as her intention to assassinate the victim. Armed with this information, the police on the 27th of May went to the victim's residence and asked her to call the suspect to come to her residence, which she obliged. It is in our custody and assisting in investigation and will be prosecuted as soon as investigation is completed. For now, I think that the suspect in this case wanted to, to have the victim eliminated so as not to pay the money. And so that is why she contracted. The word of caution here is that people should be wary of people they trade with, because it can happen that when they are unable to fulfill their part of the agreement or contract, maybe they can devise any means to eliminate them.
Now, experts are warning Ghana is losing its coastal resources and, by extension, the livelihoods of those living along the coast as a result of illegal practices. They explain there is a need to start working towards sustainable fishing practices and management of the coast in order to replenish what is lost and improve the economic situation of locals. A team of researchers at the Coastal Management Center of the University of Cape Coast, with the support of USAID, is therefore on a mission to find a sustainable solution to this challenge. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur has more in this report.
From illegal mining, illegal fishing, tidal waves to open defecation and indiscriminate disposal of waste, there are many challenges facing fisherfolks along Ghana's 550-kilometer shoreline and 180 landing beaches. Illegal mining activities and open defecation have destroyed what could have been a pristine tourist-friendly estuary at the Shama Apo landing beach in the western region, where the Pra River joins the sea. The Meki Lagoon, as a result, can no longer support fish life.
Some time ago, the water it wasn't like this. Because of Galamsey, it has changed the water.
The river wasn't like this in the past. It became this way as a result of illegal mining activities. We have advised operators to stop because it affects our rivers, but our pleas have fallen on deaf ears. We even reported the illegal mining activities going on at Beposo to the district assembly, but operators continue to mine with impunity.
They are doing Galamsey, they should stop. But I don't know. They are trying to be insubordination.
The chief fisherman here is particularly worried as efforts to get locals to use toilet facilities available have proved futile.
We have cautioned people not to defecate at the beach and rather use the toilet facility available, but some recalcitrant ones ease themselves near the dog canoes at dawn and insult you when you question them.
Like many beaches along Ghana's coast, this particular beach here in Elmina is not free from open defecation. In fact, the stench here is unbearable, as I've had people openly tell me that they ease themselves here. The situation is no different at the Axim Landing Beach in the Western region, where the chief fisherman says fighting open defecation on the beach is a Herculean task.
You can't take it out.
You can't take out open defecation at the beach here. There's a particular spot on the side of the beach where most people ease themselves.
Crude fishing practices such as pair trolling, psycho fishing, light fishing, and the use of dynamite and monofilament nets have also been blamed for the destruction of the ocean floor and the depletion of fish stock. Here in Abutiakopa in the Volta region, the issue has been the use of monofilament net, which is illegal because the net has tiny holes and they capture fingerlings as well. Now, what the fishermen are saying is that that is the only way they are able to survive, because their colleagues elsewhere are using illegal fishing methods like light fishing and dynamite, and this is affecting their harvest here.
We often don't make a good catch, but when we use monofilament nets, you are able to get at least 3 containers of tiny fishes. I stopped using the net after learning it was illegal, and now it's difficult feeding my family.
The fishermen blame the Marine Police's lack of commitment for the brazen actions of those who engage in such illegalities.
If you go around, you will see them patrol the lights and everything there. It's a matter of just coming to arrest them. But you see, now it has got some political chases. Nobody wants to do that because of votes. But if it is a good thing that has been passed by Parliament, the next government will not allow them to use it. So it's up to the government to insist, put the feet down, and do the right thing.
So you mean that the authorities who are supposed to police the seas are not doing their job?
They are not doing their job. They are not doing their job. They are not enforcing the rules.
Even as these challenges seem daunting, scientists in the sector are confident a $5.5 million coastal management project funded by the USAID will influence policy that supports efforts to revamp the fisheries sector.
We started the research from the western region, now we in the central region. So far we have covered a little over 60 landing beaches. But some of the key issues that have really propped up has to do with sanitation and issues of pollution. We are trying to get fisheries and its related issues to do with sanitation on the beach, degradation of the resource into our national development framework. And once that is done, other sector ministries, we believe, are going to pick it up.
While the fishermen seem to agree that observing occasional closed seasons allows the sea to replenish its resources, leaders are unable to compel fishermen to comply with the directive. This is why chief fishermen and the council that manage London beaches want adequate authority which will enable them punish those who flout laws on illegal fishing with impunity.
All right, now 3 Chinese nationals arrested at Achim Sechemase in the Eastern region for engaging in illegal mining have been transferred to the Eastern Regional Police Headquarters for further investigations. Joy News is learning the transfer has to do with immigration issues. Our man on the beat, Maxwell Kudeko, reports the police has so far been unable to take caution statements from the suspects because of their inability to communicate with the Chinese suspects in their language. He joins us on the line with more. Hello, good evening to you, Maxwell. Explain to us, if you will, what the issue is with their immigration status.
Well, there seems to be a back and forth about the issue of taking statements from these Chinese nationals who were arrested yesterday. Earlier this morning, the Chebi police transferred the case to the regional police headquarters in Kofodia, and then the regional headquarters also directed that the Chebi people should handle it. As at around 5:36 p.m., the police were struggling to get an interpreter to interpret the Chinese or the English language to them. But just about coming on air, information I picked indicate that the company, Narawa Mining, the concessionaire whose land or whose concession these Chinese were mining, have provided the police with an interpreter who is helping them take statements from the Chinese nationals who were arrested. It is likely, from what I'm thinking, it is likely that they will be granted bail either this evening or tomorrow. The piece of information I'm picking from the investigators indicates that these 3 Chinese nationals worked for a mining company in Kumasi called Juahua Mining Limited. They provide logistic and then equipment services for other mining companies. So Narawa Mining Company in the East Achim engaged the services of Guanghuan Mining to provide logistics for them. So these 3 Chinese were working for Guanghuan Mining Company, according to the information the Chinese nationals are giving to the police. I hear one is a plant mounter, one is an electrical welder, and the other one is an engineer who were working for the Narawa Mining Company and were arrested as illegal miners. Presently, it is unclear whether they have permits to stay and work in Ghana. So from tomorrow, we are told that they claim their documents is with the director they work for in Kumasi. So by tomorrow, it's likely they will be asked to produce documents concerning their permit or their stay in Ghana. So presently, police have gotten an interpreter who is helping them to get statements from these 3 Chinese nationals.
All right, many thanks, and that's our correspondent Maxwell Kudoko with that update of the 3 Chinese nationals who've been arrested by the Eastern Regional Police Command. You're watching Joy News Prime. I'm Arba Kumsin. Still ahead.